Welcome to Outside Time. I'm going to show you how to build a fire pit for heating your pool. So you can enjoy the fire and you heat the pool at the same time, and it won't cost you a dime, just the wood if you have it on hand. But I learned a few things in the process of this. Today we're going to start building a water heater, a wood burning stove water heater. And we're going to use this for heating the pool and save a little bit of money. So you're going to need a fire pit. You can build one or you can buy one, depending on how your background in fabrication is. Sometimes it's cheaper just to buy one that's already built. But anyhow, we've got a 36-inch fire pit. We've got some copper tubing. We're going to be putting 200 feet of 3/4-inch copper tubing in there. But to bend that copper tubing to the right shape and size, you are going to have to do some carpentry work. And this right here is what we bend the copper around, and you can see it fits inside. The copper will bend around it, and it'll fit up snug right against the outside edge. We've already done the first row, and the second row of copper tubing is going to go on the inside. So what we've done is just use some cardboard, cut out a stencil. We got one that was 33-inch diameter. That was this one, and the other one will be 30-inch. Now, if you could go buy a big spool or something of those diameters, use those, or a 55-gallon drum. But for the diameter of my fire pit, I have to make some jigs. And I'm going to show you the basics of how to do that. Okay, you're going to use your template. For a large compass, you're going to draw your circles on the plywood. These are your two end pieces of your, like I say, you're just building the barrel. So you can have holes in it or whatever. You can piece them together. But trace them out, cut them, and this whole project, I would buy 2 sheets of plywood just to play it safe if you're doing it this style. Just brainstorm anything to wrap the copper tubing around of the right size. And cut them out. Like I say, you'll get plenty of jigsaw time. Okay, once you get all your parts and pieces cut out, then I'll show you what to do with them. We'll put it together, make it look like a barrel. Okay, once they're cut out, you're going to find center. You're going to just place a nail there for your center. And you're going to come over the edge and you're going to measure back about a 1/2 inch. The reason you're going a 1/2 inch is because that's the thickness of the plywood. And these are going to get stacked around here just like this. You can see this. It'll make its radius. So 1/2 inch, and I don't have a big compass. So what I do, just take a piece of string, put it there, put your pin in it, and we're not building a piano here, so it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. Trace it all the way around. There you go. A couple edges might be more like 3/8, and some might be more like 5/8, but gives you a guideline. And then I'll show you the next step. All right, here we go. We got one done. So this is obviously the radius, or the outer circumference. You put a bunch of these together, you're going to build your circle, and then it's just going to give you some something to nail or staple the plywood to. Okay, we cut out all those crescent-shaped pieces with the radius to them. And they didn't have to be perfect or pretty. And after we did that, we just lined them up. Like I said, they don't have to touch it or nothing. They're lined up with that inner edge that we just traced at the 1/2 inch. So then what we're going to do, we're going to go around, we're going to nail those on there. And then these, it gives a backing. So if we build 2 of these, we have a backing that we can nail these to. And as we keep building these, it makes the circumference. So it's all coming together. But yeah, just get them lined up. Tack them in place. Doesn't have to be exactly perfect. just close. There we go. So now that that's on there, we'll put our 1/2 inchers in there. I say 1/2 inchers. These guys right here. And then you can see it's pretty close to the edge. It's gonna, depending on how good of a cutter you are, but how well you laid it out. We're kind of doing this quick. So there'll be some trimming. I'll probably take the router and quickly buzz around that because we don't want a lip when it comes time to pull the copper off of there. But we'll build 2 of those. If we have some extra pieces, we might just throw them on there and make them too thick. That way you got 1 inch of nailing surface instead of 1/2 inch. But it's all getting covered up. It's all false work, and it's all just to bend copper tubing around it. So use what you have and make it work. Okay, now you can see we've got all these nailed in there, stapled in there. It's not real pretty on the inside, but who cares, right? And nobody's gonna see it. And these, we've got a nice surface to nail these to. These are just 2 inches wide by 1 foot long. And we're just gonna line those up. Put a couple nails in there. Okay. Should roll. Be a little wobbly at first, but once you get a few of them in there, it'll stabilize. Okay, you can see it's redundant. It's the same thing over and over again. Got them nailed in here. I'll get them all done. And then we'll come back and we'll just trim up this edge. We'll just take a router, clean it up, and then we'll be ready to put some more copper on there. Okay, it looks like a barrel. I say ready to wrap copper around it, but we're gonna do one more thing. Probably overdoing it, but just playing it safe. Some of these edges aren't perfectly smooth. You know, when I built this, it's not perfect. So you can see some of them overhang. Now when we put that copper on there, if you have the lip hanging out, that copper's gonna hang up on it and it's not gonna wanna slide off as easy. So just take the router, buzz it around, make it nice and smooth. Just flush on the edge, just a flushing bit there. There you go, ready for copper. Okay, there it is. It's stacked up like a wedding cake. You can see this little lip right here. It's right here. It says 1¼ inch and 1¼ inch. 1¼ all the way around. So when we wrap this 3/4 inch copper tubing, we're gonna have roughly a 1/2 inch place or 1/4 inch on either side. So it came out perfect. So that's one advantage of building your own. You get a better fit. So this copper will lay inside of the outer copper. So there'll be a roll of copper tubing on the outside here and one on the inside. So just like last time, we're just gonna bend the copper around this upper barrel here or form, and then it should sit inside the other one. We'll start bending copper. Some zip ties on there to hold it in that shape. just like the other one. Slide these through. Just put probably 4 or 5 of them on there. They don't have to be tight. There it is. Okay. Now this one, I don't know if you can still see it. This one will slide right on the inside. Now that you've got all the copper laid out the way you want, it looks good, you got to keep it in that position. You know, ideally, you'd want a little bit of space between them, but try not to overthink this. As long as it stays up against the outside edge, you should be good. So, I made these brackets. I'm going to show you how to make those. But once you get it laid in there, the brackets will go here just like that. Just drill a hole in the bottom, one on the top, and it'll hold it there. So we're going to turn this round leftover scrap copper tubing into this flat, neat bracket. So here we go. Turn this copper tubing into a nice bracket. Just take it in your vise and you're going to line it up and you're going to smash it. Okay, once it's flat like that, you're just going to come over here and you're going to flatten it the rest of the way with a hammer. Like that. Now we need to put an ear in it, right? We'll come back. It doesn't need to be about 1 inch or so. You can take a pen, make a mark. There we go. We want it somewhere in there. Okay, we're going to come down, put it in on your mark, and then just put it over. Okay, now we got a nice ear. See that? And then I've already measured how long our copper tubing is. This distance, I believe it's 10 inches. So we're going to come in here. We're going to measure that. Once we got that mark there, all right, this one needs to bend the opposite direction. Again, we put it in the vise. And we're just going to bend it over. Okay. So you can see the progress, what we're looking at here. It's starting to look like a bracket. And sometimes you have to get clever with your bends. Because obviously I don't want to ruin that bend. So I'll just take something, piece of metal, whatever. And it's soft, so it bends over pretty easy. There we go. Okay. Now that we've got that, we're almost done. It all bent. Now we need to cut it off. So you're gonna make a mark. You're just gonna come over. You're gonna put it in your vise. There you go. I want to cut it off right there. Okay. And the easiest way I found, just put it in your vise and use your vise as a guide. Wear some safety glasses. Use like a bimetal blade, and then cut it off. There we go. And then that's just scrap. Just make a mark. Okay. And then you're gonna drill it. Okay. You got your mark. And drill your hole. Okay. I think you've probably seen enough, but you get the gist of it. Use a vise, a hammer, a drill, a sawzall, your scrap copper tubing, and get creative. Use that scrap metal to your benefit. Now you've seen how to turn the scrap copper tubing into a bracket. All you got to do, come around and find out where you want to put them. I just measured, measured rough, pretty even. It's a fire pit. About every 20, 22 inches around, and put a bracket. You can put as many as you want. All it's doing is it's just holding there so it doesn't overlap. It makes it look uniform, and you've got all your surface exposed. If you want to take the time and put bolts and spread them out, you can do that, but I think we're gonna get plenty of heat out of this. So, but yep, just lay them in there like so. Come in, drill your hole, put your bolt, drill a hole, put the bolt. If you got any overhang, just grind it out. But tighten it up, and it'll keep it nice and clean. Okay, let's cut a couple more holes in the fire pit for the inlet. Inlet's here, inlet's on the side, and outlet's on the bottom. So just so it flows. So, and then you'll have to cut the ends of your copper where you want the copper tubing to lay in there. So. All right, there we go. If you get your copper all lined up to where your fittings are gonna lay, in your configuration, you're obviously gonna make marks on your copper tubing. Being that it's refrigerant, it's bent already, copper wants to cut better when it's flat. So I just kind of, just use your hands, take some of that radius out, and it'll cut a lot better for you, and the fittings will go on better. You don't have to worry about straightening your copper tubing. But just get that all cut, and then do the same thing with the next one, and then you can position it where it goes, so when you put your fittings on, it shoots out right in the hole there. And then this is that real soft refrigerant copper tubing, so just take your time cutting it so you don't deform it. And there we go, we're almost through. There we go. So to check for leaks, you're just going to want to mix up, just get a squirt bottle. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just get a squirt bottle, put some water in there and some soap, just Dawn soap or dishwasher soap, just a little bit. Just enough that when you squirt it down, it's going to get everything wet. And if there's a leak, you're going to get bubbles. So we'll squirt everything down. And I'll bring you over here. You can actually see I do have a leak. See that? It's at the compression fitting right there. So just squirt it with some water here. And you'll see if you got enough pressure in there, you may hear it depending on the leak, but just a little bubble. So hopefully all I have to do is tighten up that nut on the compression fitting and we're done. But all of our fittings, I'm not a plumber, but I got lucky on this one. All my solder seems to be pretty good. So just dealing with the compression fitting. Give you the grand tour, but I think it's time to put water through it and build a fire. We'll see what kind of heat we can get out of it. Again, we have 200 feet of refrigerant air conditioning type copper. That's a 3/4 inch. There's 4 legs of 50 feet on the inside that wrap around, and then they tie into, they keep upsizing from 1 inch to 1.5 inches to 2 inch PVC, which will go into the pool. So I'll give you the final tour, a closer look. All right, PVC here is just for test. It's our test manifold right at 50 PSI. And then we come in here, the end is going to be the top. So water will come in here. It'll go through these two. It'll circle around and then it'll come out through the bottom. And we have our bottom fittings down there. All 4 of them come in here and then they come into this 1.5 inches. And then this will return into the pool right here. So there it is. And there's, you can get real fancy. You can space them out, put insulation in there. Right now it's ready for a fire. I think I'll build a small dish with maybe a 3 or 4 inch lip on it. Just okay, we're plumbed up. We got a pump at the deep end of the pool. It's what is that? 1.5 horsepower. And so it runs at 1.5 inches, and we had to bring it up to 2 inch. But you can see the supply line comes in. This is the supply line right here. Comes in, and it goes into these. And it's going around and around. All 4 of them, 4 legs. And then it comes out through the bottom, which is this one. that's the return, because it returns to the pool. Here's the temperature of the water right now. You can see that like 39.5, 40 right there. And then I got the end neck down to 3/4 inch, simulating the jets that are going to return in the pool. Now this pool is obviously incomplete. Doesn't have plaster in it, but that's just rainwater right there for the season. So I figured we'd take temperature, start a fire, and see how long it takes to warm up. It's 52,000 gallons of water. So your guess is as good as mine. I'm guessing a full day to warm up 10, 20 degrees. There we go, the finished product. You won't see any of this. It'll be turned around and it hooks up to those two. So the cosmetic appeal, you're only gonna see that side of it. And then it'd just be like campfire. Okay, we did one last thing before it's time to build a fire. And we got water running. Everything looks good, leaks good, no water. And put a protective lid on here. And then in the bottom here, you can see I've got a pan. Mainly just for cleanup. So all the ash and everything goes in there. And I might put some bars that come up to protect it so logs don't fall against the copper. But we're gonna get a fire going. And I just want to show you one last thing. The temperature of the pool water. There you go. And then I'll get a stopwatch going too. But that's the temperature of the pool water, and the temperature outside is, what is it, 32, 33? So it's the January 20th. So we'll see. I'll come back with an update once we get the fire going. Okay, we've got a fire going. Now we just wait. Okay, we made some modifications. The high hopes of high flow and high heat exchange did not happen. So if you build one of these and you expect to get huge heat exchange results, you're gonna have minimal flow with lots of coils. Where we've got high flow and 4 coils that only make 50 feet in there. So if you understand what I'm saying, if this was just one line, 200 feet of one line coming out, we'd have great results. But since it's only 4 legs of 50 feet with high flow, we're only getting, if I neck it down, up to 10 degree heat exchange. But when it's full throttle, that's roughly 6,000 gallons an hour. I'm only getting 1 degree heat exchange. So we took the pan out. This was the containment pan for all the ash. And we're just gonna build a rip-roaring fire. I don't think it's gonna hurt the copper. In the inside, I blocked off any updrafts, so you want to have as tight a containment as you can, and we'll get it going and see what kind of results we can have this time. Okay, we want to get water going through it. Obviously, there's not a whole lot of heat, but when you do have a lot of heat, you want to have water going through there just to limit any possibilities of building steam. You can see it has a lid now, and before that lid was a containment for the ash in the bottom. Well, that was overthought, so don't hesitate to build a hot rip-roaring fire. As you can see, there's probably 12 inches of coal in there, and it is burning very hot. We have about a 10 degree exchange at somewhere around 2,000 gallons per minute. So it's a good rate. It's not as much exchange as I thought we were going to get, but I think in a 24-hour period it'll do some good with the pool. Okay, our fire pit's complete. We've got a lid, we've got containment, we've got 200 feet of 3/4 inch copper. We've got an inlet and outlet. We've got flow going through there, and you can't be shy on your firewood. So put lots of fire in there, get a really good bed of coal going. And we're getting about 9 to 10 degree heat exchange. So I'll show you what we're getting. Here's our fire. You can see the coal and ashes, just nice bed of coal down there. probably 8 to 10 inches. And you can't worry about that on the copper tubing. It's not gonna hurt it. As long as you're not throwing logs in there hitting the copper, you're not gonna hurt it. So you got a lid, which at night, we just stack it up, lean the lid over it. You wake up in the morning, and if it rains or whatnot, it doesn't put your fire out. So the water temperature coming in was roughly 40 degrees. And it comes in through here at the other end of the pool. And this is all just false work. It's just to test it out, see what kind of temperatures we can make. You got a 3-way valve for adjusting it. You can see there's a little bit of bypass coming out here. But the water comes in 40 degrees, goes into the fire pit, around and around, and comes out, and just shy of 50 degrees there. 48, 49 degrees. So, and you can see there's quite a bit of water pressure coming out there. Volume was the big thing. More water, less heat, in the long run is better than small amount of water and high heat. So, again, the pool is not complete. This is just rainwater. Before we finish our pool, I wanted to test out the fire pit. And there's our fire pit. Our fire pit dog. It's pretty tough. So, thanks for watching. Get outside. Have a great day.